So this is the HTML suite, and I'm having 3 test cases which are linked. Okay, now I want you to correlate between the ideas of what happens when you open the test suite in IDE. All these 3 test cases are displayed, and whenever I open it using the browser, I see these three links. Okay, which means I'll be able to navigate to each of these scripts. Now see the very big advantage of having an open source system. All are simple things: a HTML based browser, a HTML based IDE, okay, through which we are able to we are having a seamless transition of our code. I can open it in Firefox also, I can open it in IE, and it gets opened in IDE also. Okay, so if I click on any of these things, I'm getting the exact representation of what I have in Seleni's commands. Correct? Try these things and try to understand as a whole concept. Okay, the reason for showing all this is you need to understand what happens behind the screens. Now let me close this. So we have renamed our test suite with .html. Okay, I'm coming back to my command. I'm going to say the exact test suite name. Okay, in my folder, okay, I have this cc_ts1.html. This is the test suite which I need to run. Okay, Joe's it's still there. It's right here: java-jar selenium -server -standalone -2.41.0.jar. This is how you invoke the server. By default, the server runs on port number 44. Okay, because you should know about port numbers, because there may be a firewall which is running on your system, or by default your administrator would have blocked it. Okay, so there are some practical implications when you try to run a server. Okay, let us discuss this when we get free time. Now I'm coming back to my command which I'm building. So the test suite I have passed. The very next thing, the important thing, I'm saying, okay, I execute it, but what happens after that? I mean, do I get any result or not? How do I verify that if it is passed, or how do I verify if there are any logs? I mean, if there are any errors, how am I going to troubleshoot? For which I will be in need of logs. So the next thing, the next parameter or argument that I'm going to pass is result. Okay, this file is not existing right now. It does not exist right now, but in runtime it will be created by Selenium server. We have these many arguments right now. Okay, Selenium server standalone, HTML suite, the browser which we need the test case to be executed with, and the exact URL of all the test cases present. That is why the test cases should be grouped with respect to the website. If there is a difference of URL, it will have a problem while you are running through command prompt. Okay, and then the next thing is the exact location of my test suite, and then the last one is the result file which needs to be created after the execution. I'm going to copy this command. I just copied this command, and I'm going to right click and say paste. it is pasted right here. It has been pasted in my command prompt. Now I'm going to type enter. I'm going to type enter right now. Let us see what happens. Let me close the Firefox. I just closed the Firefox. Type enter. See the kind of commands it types. Now there are two Firefox windows which has been opened. Okay, two Firefox windows has been opened, and you are able to see which test case is being executed and what is the exact command which is being executed. The top window of Firefox is what we call as test runner. Okay, test runner is the one which you are seeing right now. Okay, it displays you the current status of all the scripts, and the bottom one is where your scripts are actually executed. Okay, watch the screen and you can understand it clearly. The top one is test runner, the below one is where our commands are being executed. As everything is in HTML, it gets easy for Selenium to open all the scripts in Firefox itself. Okay, although simple, it is strong. It provides us with a view that we don't miss anything. Okay, now the execution is complete, and I am back to my prompt. I'm back to my prompt. In here you see these 4 lines. I'm sorry, I'll just mark these 2 lines. It says preparing Firefox profile and launching Firefox. Okay, that is why that is what happens. We mention the browser as Firefox. Okay, now let us see what is generated as a result file. We gave something as a result file. What happened to that result file? Okay, I'm getting back to my folder, and see, there is a result file which is created. I want to see what is inside that. I'm double clicking it. Okay, now it displays me with a runtime statistics also. It says total time which took for the execution of all the test cases is 83 seconds. Okay, 83 seconds has been taken by the Selenium server. Number of tests in total is 3, passes 1, failures 2. Okay, so you are getting these many statistics whenever we try to run the script test suite with Selenium server. It gives us highlighting also, color based highlighting, through which we know that what are all the failed things and what is passed. Okay, test suite and test cases names, all the commands which got executed. Okay, all the commands which got executed, whenever it is failed it highlights, and below that you are getting the log files also. See, you are getting the log files also, which means the Selenium RC does not misses anything. Okay, it gives us all the result back to make sure that we get everything clearly. Okay, if I want to click on that, it navigates right here. Basically a table based tags, so all the logs and everything is being displayed just like what we see in IDE. Everything is same, but we just executed it all at once. It was not required to get into IDE and work on everything. Okay, that is how I execute my scripts using Selenium remote control. Now what if I want to execute it through IE? What if I want to execute it through IE? Let us try that one. Let me just say I explore. I just named the browser as iExplore. I'm coming back to my command prompt, copying and coming back to my command prompt, right click, paste, and then type enter. So in IE there are some problems with JS execution. I don't think it will execute. Okay, I think it is better we go with Firefox. So let me stop this process, and what happens if I try with Chrome? We are just playing with that command right now. Firefox is the best suitable one. Control C, paste, and type enter. Chrome identified. We may have to give Google Chrome in that place. We may have to give Google Chrome in the argument we pass the browser name. Is this clear? Execution of our script using command prompt. I'm sorry, test suite. Please raise your hand. Okay, I see good amount of hands are rising. Thank you. Good. Now where can you download this Selenium server? Can anybody answer it? Where can you download this Selenium server? That's right, from seleniumhq.org. That's right. That's right. Good. Now let it stop, and then we will directly dive into configuring Eclipse with Selenium RC. Let me save this notes file. Saved. Before that, I told you that I'll explain you about setting Java path. Okay, Java path is a must whenever you try to execute command line operations or whenever you try to configure Eclipse. Okay, to do that you should open advanced properties. Venkat Madhu, you can execute any number of scripts, I mean test cases at the same time. There are many subtle things also called parallel execution, multiple windows, all those things are there. You will see it. We will see it when we go through Eclipse. Now configuring Java path. There are two things which you need to take care of. Okay, I'll keep it very straight. Path variable in system and Java underscore home variable. Okay, these two things must be configured for the current Java installation. Okay, path and Java home must be configured for your current Java installation. I'm saying current because people always update Java. Okay, and they will try with multiple installations, which means you can have multiple Java instances running on the single machine. Multiple JVMs can be installed in the same machine. Okay, Jose, I'll come to your question a little bit later. Okay, it seems that okay, please wait. Now, path variable and Java home. To modify these things, I'm getting into start, right clicking my computer and say properties, right click my computer, properties, and click on advanced system settings. Okay, advanced system settings. Inside that there is something called environment variables. There are multiple options which we are going through right now. Please follow it correctly. Okay, I just right clicked on my computer. Okay, in start, the moment I clicked on properties, I was able to see this system window. Okay, from system window, the one which I'm pointing right now, I clicked on advanced system settings. Okay, advanced system settings returned this system properties dialog box. Okay, in this we need to click on environment variables. It will open another window. Okay, in this, under system variables, I'm just scrolling down to this path variable. A moment ago I was explaining you about two most important things to be configured: path and Java underscore home. Okay, the one is above, which means user based variable, and the other one is path, system level variable. There are two divisions here, one is for user and the other one is for system variables. Okay, now I'm going to click on edit. One caution: do not ever delete the present contents. You can add more values to this path variable. Don't ever try to delete anything or modify anything. Okay, if you think that you have accidentally modified something or deleted something, please go ahead with clicking on cancel so that it will not get saved, because you may have multiple installations and multiple paths configured in your system. We do not know in what kind of impact it will make. So better, if you think that you have done something wrong, click on cancel right away. So I'm going to click on edit. Okay, there is a variable value also. I'm going to copy it. This is the best method to add a value to the path variable. I am copying all the variable value which is present. Okay, I'm coming to my notepad and pasting it. This is the whole of path variable. Okay, I'm just marking the Java bin directory. See this? You should type something like this. Wherever your Java JDK is installed, you should have the bin directory located. Copy and paste it in the path variable like this. Okay, I hope you understand. You should try it. Okay, this is how you add something. Whenever you need to add something, you should put a semicolon and then add the variable. The path value will be bigger than what we imagine, because everything we install, all the program will directly store the path value without asking us. Okay, so it will be big. No need to confuse, because we are going to add it only in the last place. Okay, now once you have added this bin directory of JDK, next the Java home. Java home is a little bit easy, because we ourselves going to create this Java home value. Okay, uh, so once you add your value in path, you can just paste it here. You can just paste it here and then say OK. Okay. The reason why I am saying you to get it in Notepad is that we know how many are there and we can exactly pinpoint whatever we have added. Okay. The risk of modifying the path variable right click is very high. Okay. Right here is very high. I'm sorry. So next, the Java underscore home variable. It is very easy because we are the one who are going to create it. So you can just say new and type the Java underscore home variable name here, and then provide the variable as like this: C colon program files Java and JDK1 dot whatever you have installed. Okay. Path and Java home. Path, I will advise you to copy everything to a notepad, append the value which you are going to type, like what I'm doing now: C colon slash program file slash Java slash JDK slash bin. Okay, copy everything, copy everything, copy everything, go to system settings. Okay, delete the previous value and paste everything, because we know that we did not miss anything when we copied it from notepad. Okay, now as we have configured both the variables Java home and path, we are going to, we already executed it. Okay, fine. Now is this clear? Java home path and path. You should try it. I understand you should try it. Can you raise your hand? Can we move ahead with Eclipse? We are going to, yes, good. Thank you. Thanks for the response. Jose, you said that your system is stuck at some line. What is the command you gave? Can you type the command you gave? So now Eclipse. It's an IDE used for Java development mostly. I'm saying mostly because it has development environments for C, C++, and even Android also. Okay, it is an IDE which has multiple environments. Jose, I saw your command. Yes, if you only say Java-jar and Selenium server standalone, it will only invoke the server and it will wait for our input. I told you that because how to invoke a jar file. You can just say Control-C and stop the server. Okay, the reason why it is standing for your input is that it is running on that prompt. Okay, a simple user input like Control-C will stop the server. Okay, yes, you're welcome. Now, so coming back to Eclipse. Eclipse is an IDE I am using Indigo, Eclipse Indigo. There are multiple versions on Eclipse. Okay, I'll go to the Eclipse website. eclipse.org. It is an open source software. So I'm going to click on downloads. You have to choose Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Do not go for JEE. Do not go for JEE, Java Enterprise Development. Okay, I want you to choose Eclipse IDE for Java developers. The moment you click on that, you will be able to see multiple packages. Okay, multiple packages will be there. You can choose any of these packages. Okay, I am using Indigo. I'm using Indigo right now. Okay, you can also install this one. If I choose Indigo, see here, Eclipse IDE for Java developers. Okay, right here you can choose 32-bit or 64-bit with respect to your system. You can always go with 32-bit, not a problem. Okay, I'm using Indigo. You can also download that. It will be an 128 MB package. Once you download it, I hope you have noticed the paths through which we navigated to this page. Okay, and this is the zip archive I got. I downloaded a 64-bit version because I'm using a 64-bit system. Okay, and it is compatible of 32-bit also. Okay, now once you receive this archive, you have to extract it. There will be one folder, only one folder inside it called Eclipse. Okay, I'm going to extract it right here. So once it gets extracted, I'll be able to see the folder in my my computer right now. I'm navigating into it. There is an exe called Eclipse. Okay, before invoking this Eclipse, make sure that you have set Java_home path, because it will always look into Java_home and system level path. Without Java, Eclipse Java development will not start. Make sure that the variables Java_home and path are set. I'm going to invoke that exe right now. I'm going to double click it. Eclipse Go is being splash screen is displayed, and then it asks for an workspace. A workspace is a directory which will contain which can contain all our codes, which means we can create multiple projects. All these projects can be saved into a workspace. Workspace is basically a directory with respect to computer. With respect to operating system, it is just a directory. But with respect to Eclipse, it will contain all your projects. And in turn, all your projects will contain your codes, library files, style sheets, okay, images, whatever you have, your resources, everything will be present inside a project, and all the project can be grouped inside a workspace. Okay, to plan correctly, I'll always advise you to have your workspace inside your Eclipse folder, because whenever we move our Eclipse to another system, there may be a situation that you need to change your system, or you need to have another system with the same environment. We can just zip this Eclipse folder itself and we can move all our code. Okay, to minimize the risk of leaving our code, or let me say that forgetting our code in some other system, we can always have our workspace directory inside Eclipse folder. See what I'm going to do now. This is the Eclipse extracted directory. I'm going to click on new folder, and I will name this folder as Java Workspace. Okay, name it whatever you want. With respect to the reference, you may understand it. Okay, Java Workspace has been created. Now this folder folder will be given as workspace. See, this is how I configure a workspace. Anyway, you have the ability to choose it from inside the Eclipse. Let us configure it right away before starting the Eclipse itself. Once I give this directory, make sure you can click on OK and then